Hello and welcome to Postcard And A Pint. I'm Rachel.
I'm Wills.
And today we are doing something completely different. Yes, kids, today it's Halloween, and we thought, what can we do that still shows you some sights and around and about, but also celebrates Halloween? So what we've done is we've researched 6 short ghost stories. Spooky ghost stories from around our area, and we've been out, we've visited the locations, and we've filmed them for you. So I hope you enjoy them. I gave Wills 20 quid, sent him down to Home Bargains. He's in charge of special effects and decorations. I dread to think, oh God, I dread to think where this video is going to go. Okay, and you know, we may even have a cheeky pint later on.
Nope.
We're not?
Nope, no pint today.
Why not?
Because we're going to have some booze.
God, this is going to be a long video. Anyway, let's get cracking. Let's have a look at the first story. Oh God. Our first story comes to you from the little tiny village of Llanefydd. Llanefydd is near the town of Denbigh, and this is a spooky one. In the 16th century lived Catherine Tudor, and she lived at the mansion of Boraine here in Llanefydd. She was a kinswoman of the then monarch Elizabeth I, and she had so many noble descendants that she earned the title of Mam Cymru, or Mother of Wales.
But she was one sick mother.
It's rumoured that old Catherine had 7 husbands, but in reality she only had 4, and she murdered all of them. Her murdering method was to pour molten lead into their ears while they were sleeping, and it's said that she buried each one at the dead of night in her orchard. So watch out, lad, we've got an apple tree. On one occasion, when she was doing the old lead in the ears trick, one of the husbands woke up, so she had to resort to the more traditional method of murder by grabbing a large knife and stabbing him repeatedly in the chest. Nice lass, eh? It is said that within the mansion there is an indelible bloodstain on one of the wood panels, and no matter how many times you wash it and clean it off, it just comes back. The orchard now has a really eerie feel, and in the dead of night it is claimed that you can still hear screams and see ghostly figures drifting between the trees. Well, Wills was right. She was one sick mother. Oh, God. Bless him. Anyway, moving on, as only we should in Postcard And A Pint, we decided we definitely needed to find a pub ghost. So, are you going to keep this up, all video? So, we found the most haunted pub that we could, and we found a pub ghost called Sylvia. Come on. This is the story of Sylvia. She originates from around the 1900s, and she's said to haunt the Llyndir Inn in Henllan. Sylvia was the wife of a sailor, and what is the Llyndir Inn today was formerly their home. Now, it's said that old Sylvia was a bit of a naughty one. When her husband was away at sea, which was quite a lot, she would fool around with the young men of the village. Naughty. One stormy night, the husband arrived home unexpectedly and found Sylvia entertaining, shall we say, a young man. In a fit of rage, the husband stabbed the lover to death and strangled Sylvia to death. There have been sightings of Sylvia's ghost upstairs in the pub, and she wears a long blue gown, and it's said that if a young man stays the night alone in the pub, she may even get into bed with him. She's a sex pest ghost. So there we go, the story of Sylvia. Sylvia, the sex pest ghost. No, I'm sorry. No. You've got some talking to do now, and I'm really thinking that possibly you spent more than 20 quid. Oh dear. So you don't have to live with, I see. Comedy genius.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Not. Okay. Anyway, the pub.
The pub. We spoke to the landlady. Spoke to the landlady and the landlord, and we asked them if they'd ever seen Sylvia. They had, but they wouldn't tell us on camera. And she told us a bit of a spooky story about some farmers. Do you want to tell them what you like?
You tell them.
Okay. Well, there was a bunch of young farmers in one day, and I was having a few beers at the bar, and all of a sudden this blue light flashed past them, and they all. Wah!
I think they probably didn't do that, did they?
They might not have done that, but they were scared anyway.
Yeah.
And when they said, "Oh, what was that then?" and she said, "Oh yeah, that's Sylvia," and they. It's not a very good story, really, is it?
She said they went really white. She said they went very, very white and looked quite afraid.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was spooky when she told the story.
And once he'd assembled this story and we watched it back, we noticed a beer glass just swinging freely in one of the shots.
We'll show you the clip now.
Yeah, we'll show you the clip now. Nobody had just placed it there. Nobody had been in that bar. It was pretty empty. So, spooky.
Spooky.
Anyway, on to the next story. For the next story, we are going to climb a local mountain.
Which mountain? Oh.
Please, you are not keeping this up all video. I will be forced to take drastic action if you do. We are going to climb a local mountain and share with you the ghost story of that mountain. Come on. This story comes from Moyle Arthur. Now, Moyle Arthur is a heather-clad hill in the Clwydyn Range in the northeast of Wales, and it's said to be named after the legendary King Arthur. Local legend states that King Arthur ruled Britain from the hill fort at the summit. Today, I'm going to share with you a ghost story of the ghost of this hill fort as we make our way up. So, apologies if I'm knackered on every shot. It's quite steep. There's a strong possibility that King Arthur is buried in this hill fort. In the 18th century, they found a vault that they've called Arthur's Vault. And that's where our ghost story comes from. Unfortunately, the location of Arthur's vault has been lost. I say unfortunately because legend says that the vault is filled with wealth and treasures. Although the vault has been located a few times, the treasure has proven impossible to claim. They say that a strange white mystical light lights the place of the treasure each midnight here on Moyle Arthur, but anyone who attempts to dig is driven away by sudden vicious storms, or even worse, approached by the Grey Lady. The Grey Lady is said to be the tomb's ghostly guardian. She's a tall, white apparition with a really ghostly white face and a stare that can kill you at one glance, especially if you're found digging on Moyle Arthur. Shall have you. We're here, we made it, we're at the top, but I'm not going to do the last bit of story because it's too windy, but the view's amazing. It is said, though, that the Grey Lady is kind to innocent trespassers. The story goes that one night, a man was lost on Moyle Arthur. He knew he shouldn't have been there, so he kept his head down and he kept murmuring his apologies. The Grey Lady pressed 3 dried peas into his hand. When he found his way back home, he opened his hand only to find they'd turned into gold. She's a nice ghost. But the moral of this story is, don't come digging on Moyle Arthur at midnight. Spooky stuff, eh? Definitely don't go digging after midnight on Moyle Arthur. No. No. Off. Take it off.
You're no fun.
I am loads of fun, but we've got a job to do.
Okay,
These
okay.
people don't want to be sitting around half the night. It's Halloween, they need to get out.
Okay.
Trick and treating.
Chicken treating.
Trick and treating.
Okay, chicken treating.
Chicken treating.
Chicken tikka.
Anyway, next ghost story. We're off to the Wales-England border. In fact, to a place where Will spent a little bit of his childhood.
Well, I lived there when I was 4.
Yeah.
For a little bit, or 3.
Yeah,
Something like that. And my granddad still lives there. My dad's side of the family is from Farndon.
Hiya,
And,
Harry.
Hiya, Grandad.
Yeah, and this is horrible. This is one that's a little bit more history-based, this one. This is like historical characters. So come and watch this one. It's not very nice. This story comes from the villages of Halt and Farndon, or more particularly, the bridge that links the two. This is the border between England and Wales, and it's a medieval bridge that spans the River Dee, but it has a bloody past. During the reign of Edward I, this bridge was the scene of a gruesome murder. Madog ap Griffith of Dinas Bran, check out our Secret Castles of Wales vlog to learn more about him, had died, leaving 2 sons aged 8 and 10 with no trustees. The king placed the boys with guardians. These were John Earl Warren and Roger Mortimer of Wigmore. These cruel lords plotted to kill the boys and claim their inheritance that they would have received on coming of age. One dark winter's night, they took the boys from Chester back to Dinas Bran. As they were crossing over the bridge at Halt, they took the boys from their mounts and threw their bodies into the waters below, freezing waters. The boys awoke and screamed in terror as their clothes, saturated with water, dragged them beneath. Warren and Mortimer just sat and watched until they drowned, and this is the very spot where they went over.
And we know that because my dad said.
This flat section of the wall is where the large gate tower once stood, as seen in this painting. The tower was demolished in the late 18th century and is believed to be the exact location where the children were thrown into the water.
It is said that the murder may have had royal approval, as the lords were never punished and did inherit some of the boys' wealth, and the rest probably went to the crown. It is said that their cries are still heard, coming from beneath the bridge at the dead of night. Wasn't that a nasty and horrible story? No, please. Throwing children off a bridge, horrible thing to do. And it's always that Edward I in our videos, it always is.
Is it time for some booze yet?
Ice, sunshine, thin ice, and you're walking on it. Any more of this, that's it, and I don't know, I'll snap, I will snap.
Somebody's tired.
Somebody's tired. Anyway, on to our next story. I love this story. I think this is my favourite story because the architecture of a certain, ghost village, sorry, not ghost village, the architecture of a certain village near where we live is all down to this ghost story. So come and have a look. We're now in Marford, near Wrexham. Now, Marford is famous for its quaint, almost gingerbread-style houses. But these houses were not built this way for design or fancy. These have got a more sinister origin. When the houses were built in the early 19th century, they were all affixed with a cross or a crucifix window, and these were to ward off the spirit of Lady Blackbird. In 1713, Madam Margaret Blackburn, who lived at Roft Hall or Roft Castle, not sure which, was brutally murdered by her womanising husband, George Blackburn, steward of Marford and Hoseley. There are different theories as to how she was murdered. Did he murder her in the woods, like where we are now? Ooh. Or did he push her down the stairs? Either way, the coroner, who conveniently happened to be a cousin of old George, found it death by misadventure, so his crime went unpunished. George took a new young wife 6 months later, but they were not to be left alone. it is said that Margaret's corpse clawed its way out of its coffin and set off towards Roft Hall. As it passed through Marford, it tapped at each and every house in the village. The occupants were terrified to see Margaret's face, deathly pale, dead eyes staring in at them through the windows. Once through the village of Marford, Margaret made her way to her former home, where she wandered the corridors moaning until she found the wedding chamber. There she loitered outside the door till dawn. Each night, from then on, Margaret repeated her same forlorn journey. The villagers were so terrified they barricaded themselves into their homes. George and his new wife relocated to Trevallyn Hall in Rosset, but Margaret's corpse even followed them there. Eventually, an archdeacon was called in to pray down Margaret's ghost. He was only partially successful though. Although her corpse remained at rest, her spirit still continued to wander. And that is why, from then on, all the houses in Marford were built with either a crucifix window or a cross attached to the house. Margaret's story is now one of legend, and her ghost has become Lady Blackbird. You look ridiculous.
Thanks a lot.
Right, that's it. You're going on eBay tomorrow. I'm selling you. Check out eBay tomorrow, November the 1st. For sale, one well-weathered Welshman. Debatable dress sense, crap jokes.
How rude. Anyway, I'll tell you what the scariest thing is.
What?
That this shirt, this was loose on me before lockdown.
Oh dear.
Must get fit.
Must climb more mountains and share with you. Anyway, on to our last ghost story. Oh, it's coming to the end. This one, we've gone to a lovely Welsh castle. Come and enjoy it.
Then we're going to get some booze. Here we are at Denbigh Castle. Now, they started building this place in 1282, but it took many years to build. But that's not where this story is set, so we're going to go off to the Goblin Tower.
A few hundred yards below Denbigh Castle, in a dark and gloomy wood, is the Goblin Tower. The Goblin Tower, which is here behind me, is said to be haunted by the son of the medieval builder Henry de Lacy, Earl of Lincoln. Henry ordered the construction of the tower over a spring that supplied the castle with water. One day, Henry's 15-year-old son was on the scaffolding when he lost his balance and he fell to his death.
It is said that the boy's face can still be seen peering out of these windows.
Shit yourself?
You can't say that, me mum's watching.
Sorry. Okay, and check out Crying Boy here. He can't get his makeup off. Aww. And he's got to go into Tesco later on, looking like that. Sad times, eh?
times.
Anyway, it's time for some
Booze!
I'll let you have that one because you do normally do that.
Thank you.
You do. And we'll take this opportunity, if you would like our video, if you would subscribe to the channel.
And if you hit the notification bell.
And drop us a comment below. If you've liked this stupid Halloween video. We're not
always this stupid.
We're not always this stupid. But if you've liked this, we've really enjoyed making it. We've loved travelling around and exploring the ghost stories.
Which bit have you enjoyed the most?
I think my favourite is definitely the Marford story. I really like that. It's a more full story, and I love that that's how the houses got their crosses. How about you?
I quite like the dressing up.
Why is that not a surprise? He's like the dressing up. So, without further ado, we'd like to wish you happy Halloween and cheers
to the good times.
Spooky good times.
Cheers to the spooky good times. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
Don't cry, it's just a costume. See?